just straight up do that. But also, me and Steven look great. I know I said it already, but turned out great.
Con este purillo de son, y a tu familia la de son, porque tengo grasa en el oro. Ay, ay, dale, dale,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Daytona International Speedway here for the NWS Cup Series here at the World Center Racing here. Today, I have my partner in crime over here, Peter Terrio, in the booth. Peter, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Christian. Looking forward to some nice and fast super speedway racing here. These next gen cars really do produce that. And you can hear me now, right?
Yep. Sorry about the technical difficulty there, buddy. Just getting Discord loaded up, getting the ticker loaded up. About 2.5 minutes of practice here at Daytona. And but once again, Peter, Daytona, one of the most chaotic tracks that these drivers will go to on the circuit. What do you think is going to be the plan of action for all these drivers?
Yeah, I definitely think that it's going to be smart to play it safe here. It's a long race, 100 laps, so these guys are going to need to take it easy, make it, at least halfway before you really try anything. It's really important to be there at the end for a lot of these guys, especially those guys who are really in it right now for points. Right now at the top of the board, points-wise, Braden Hunsicker, who right now is sitting right around P5 on the practice charts. He's going to be looking to perform well today because if he can, he wants to extend that points lead as much as he's going to be able to do.
Definitely agree. I mean, Braden's been very consistent throughout the whole season here, and he had a bit of a rough race compared to his standards at Watkins Glen. Never still was able to come out with top 6 finish there, which is kind of a bad finish for him compared to what he's used to be running in. So I definitely agree. He just needs to have a good, consistent run here, not get caught up in stuff, and for him, just finish the race is probably a good way to extend that points lead.
Yeah, no doubt. And speaking of Watkins Glen, right now in the session we do have Tane Hodenson, last week's winner, coming off that win, a lot of momentum and looking really strong right now in practice as well, sitting second on the leaderboard in that 21 machine. I know last week, Christian, you were really excited to see High Velocity park it in victory lane. But what do you think Tane's going to have today? Because it's obviously such a different skill set.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It does take a lot of different skill set. We know Tane, is a road course guy, right? He said that in his interview last week. And we know that he said he's kind of doing these ovals for fun, trying to learn, how to do these ovals. But he does have Diego, a teammate that can work with them. I don't see the three on the track right now, but he does have a teammate that he can work with. We know, from the ARCA series that Diego does know how to play race. I mean, he came back from a 35, 40 lap deficit. As we're looking at Tane right now and that high velocity thing, we know that Diego knows how to super speedway race, so definitely has a good teammate that can help him out as we get ready to wrap up practice here.
Yeah, and I think in a field like we have tonight, it's going to be really important for these guys that do have teammates to work together, because a little bit of a smaller field, and honestly, a lot of the time, these smaller fields produce amazing racing on these super speedways. Me and Christian, we've both had experience commentating over smaller fields on super speedway racing, and I think we would both say they're some of the best races that you watch, just because everybody is really just kind of going at it, because you're not going to have like an actual big one. But with the lower numbers, if you can get hooked up, we could even see something like a 2-car tandem come into play if they can get hooked up correctly. Right now, you're watching Matthew White take around the bottom.
We're back. Yeah, I definitely agree, Peter. I mean, we even saw in that ARCA race, there's kind of the big one that ensued for that size of field, and you saw a lot of two-car tandeming, and and you saw like I mentioned before, Diego and a couple of guys make up a 35-second that 30-second 35-second deficit to I think it was the 24 of the 24 and I think maybe the 9, I believe. I can't recall exactly who it was. But I know Noah Hamilton was up there. I think Cash Colt might have been up there as well, but they made up 40 odd seconds on the race leader there just by working together, kind of racing with each other the whole time just to get back up there.
Yeah, it really is so important, as that ARCA race showed, to keep it together. And I think that race gave these guys an opportunity to show how valuable it can be to, even if you need to, back up a lot of seconds to get to working with another guy, because you can gain a lot. Because if I remember correctly, originally the two that caught up were spread out, and then whoever was in front backed up to the driver behind, and they both were able to catch up to your leader and ultimately put that race back into being a race. And I mean, it completely changed the whole entire end of that one.
No, I definitely agree, and a big thing that you didn't even mention is green flag pit stops is what really made that race happen. Noah had a great stop, the second place driver had a great stop, but Cash Colt had a very rough pit stop, and it actually allowed him to drop back to those guys trying to catch up. And then it was a 3v2. No, it was a 3v1. Cash Colt was that second place driver, and they just mowed down Noah like he was standing still. So if we do, 100 laps here at Daytona is quite a bit. So if we don't see a caution around that fuel marker point, we will be seeing green flag pit stops, and that is also something very crucial to look into when you come to making a pick to win this race.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. The green flag pit stops are definitely going to be an important factor that these drivers have to take into account. I mean, with these like the cautions, I mean, even if you just have one driver spin out, you might not necessarily get a caution, and it could mean some drivers end up getting separated. And coming into the green flag pit stops, we could only have maybe a couple in a pack, but coming down to how good you get in your box, how good you get down pit lane, as long as you don't make any mistakes penalty wise, speeding wise, maybe you can make up some ground, and also I mean, really put your race back to where it would be like on lap 1.
I definitely agree. On board with Braden here, going slow here. I thought maybe he was trying to do the cheese where you can, have a slow outlap. But with 40 seconds left in qualifying, I don't think he's going to have enough time to set a lap down. 35 seconds. The fastest time right now, Corey Lyles are in a 49.5. So I'm not sure if Braden maybe just didn't look at the timer, or if he isn't aware, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it back around to start this lap.
I definitely think that's what happened. I think he definitely was trying to set a lap, but just kind of lost track of time. But I don't even think this is really killer for your points leader. I think it's such a long race, and you don't have a ton of cars to pass, so he can... it might honestly be beneficial if he gets to start at the back and kind of avoid it. The only thing I would worry about is losing the draft, and if you lose the draft, especially with having 10 cars here, you might not find anybody until the leaders get back around to you. And if we get green flag pit stops for the majority of this race, then that could absolutely kill you. I mean, you could lose the draft on like lap 2, and your whole race could be gone down the drain right there. So that's definitely what he's going to have to be important of, or it's going to be important for him. But luckily for him, he does have some people behind him with Cash Colt and Trevor Huff.
I definitely agree. And as we see all these drivers line up on pit road, let's go ahead and get your starting lineup up here. See Corey Lyles getting your pole here. We did not get to see that lap, but him starting out on the pole here. Payne Hodison, your last week's winner, said he's not very experienced in these oval races, but hey, came out here, the road course ringer coming out, qualifying in the second spot right there. Jude Okafor and Matthew White going to be your row 2 here.
Diego Rodriguez is going to be starting 5th in the Kings Hawaiian replica to Brad Keselowski, and then Joshua Gilbert is going to be starting 6th. Christian Zarat is going to be starting in 7th, and next to him it's going to be your points leader Braden Hunsicker. And on the final row, it's going to be Trevor Huff and Fast Cash Cole starting in the 10th position in that number 57 machine.
Yeah, 10 drivers electing to come out here and race tonight. Still a pretty decent size field. I mean, 10 drivers, you can still definitely make a good race out of that. So
I mean, we have seen some pretty good racing with a small group on super speedways, because a lot of these guys take a different mindset in when that's the case. When you have a big pack, a lot of the time you the room for error is a lot. It's much slimmer. So these drivers are a little more careful. They're more I guess inclined to sit in a line and just kind of ride around long laps. But with a smaller field like this, these drivers are going to see aggressive moves as opportunities, and ones that they could probably do without too much of a penalty to their race.
I definitely agree. Good to see Corey Lyles back in the Fast Cash Racing Cup Series right here. You know, Corey was racing in here on a regular basis, and I don't know, maybe he had some personal issues or something, you know, that he had to focus on, but stepped away from the series for a couple of weeks now, and then you see him come out here and showing that he's already going to be a contender here, putting that car on the pole.
Yeah, and that beautiful Wawa paint scheme on the new Ford Mustang Dark Horses that iRacing recently added, and man, that car looks pretty good, and it's definitely one that he's excited to be able to put on that pole position here for this race tonight at Daytona.
Definitely, I feel like, yeah, especially at these plate tracks, if you can put that car on the pole because of how, you know, close the times are, you're full throttle through this whole track. It really does show that, like, hey, dude, like, I am gonna be a contender. Like, not only do I know how to super speedway race, I know how to qualify, and I know how to run fast on my own, yet less with someone else.
Yeah, it's gonna be really important here for to command this race, but also you got to be wary of, if we do get those green flag pit stops, if you're leading the whole time, especially like just leading the whole entire first run here, you could see issues maybe with fuel consumption compared to everybody else, but only time will tell, as these drivers are gonna roll out of turn 4 with the pace car leading them down.
You're gonna see Corey Lyles and Tane Hodgson right there, your front row here. They're gonna lead you to green here.
Pace car is gonna...
And Matthew White gonna be your fast forwards. Pace car's gonna go off, and we're gonna be green here at Daytona.
2x2 all the way through the field. Immediately up to the top goes Corey Lyles to block Hodgson. That's going to leave the 18 machine of Jude Okafor down on the bottom, leading that bottom lane. But already Corey Lyles showing that he wants to control this race early.
I see him go up in front of that Ford Alliance team, and I don't know if that's something that these drivers are going to be focusing on here, but see him going up in front of that other Fords, you know. Even if they're not teammates, I feel like it's a good thing to mention that, like, manufacturers, they do work well together. The Fords push the Fords really well. The Chevys push the Chevys really well. And looking from this new, also the new Toyotas, I've noticed and I've heard that the Toyotas also push the other Toyotas pretty well. So
they got the bumpers matched up very well, but I mean, right there, we just saw the Ford of Diego on the bottom pushing the 18 machine of Okafor out to the lead, and I don't think Corey Lyles is going to lead this one. It's going to be Jude Okafor for the first lap.
And Jude making his debut in the Cup Series and coming out with a splash right here, leading your first lap of the race.
Yeah, and really doing it in style, too. Trying to keep that car up front, trying to battle Corey Lyles, your pole sitter. I mean, Lyles got a great start, and like you said, got up to the top to get with those Ford Alliance teammates, and I definitely agree with you. But right now, I mean, we are seeing a Ford on the bottom working with a Toyota, and it seems to be very beneficial for both drivers.
They're seeing that Ford just be able to come up and almost like tandem draft them out up into the corner here. And you're going to see this 18 get a huge run on the entrance, but you're going to see that top line start to get a little bit of momentum off the top going into the tri-oval.
Time by Corey Lyles just is, I think, going to barely lead at the line. Yes, he does, with the help from the 21 there of Tane Hodgson. And up on the high side, it's 4 Fords in a line, then the Chevy of your points leader, Braden Hunsicker. And then on the bottom, it's the Toyota of Okafor, and then the Ford of Diego. And then it's 3 Chevys all the way out back. So for the most part, these manufacturers are sticking together.
No, and that's something you're going to have to look at. Like, I see a lot of Fords here, and you're going to think that those Fords are going to try to work together throughout the whole race here and kind of be biased towards working with each other. A couple of Chevys and it looks like a singular Toyota here at Daytona. That's going to definitely be not good for those, you know, Chevys and Toyotas with how many Fords elected to show up here.
Turn 4 there, Trevor Huff clipped the wall, and it slowed down Cash Colt. Now these two, they are actually trying to have to catch up here. I think they're going to barely have the draft still, but very scary moment where we almost saw something as these drivers are starting to spread out a little bit more, and we're starting to see the bottom line start to deplete in numbers.
And you're seeing everybody elect to go to the top, kind of follow that Ford train. And I think once they clear here, I think they're trying to get everybody kind of lined up here. But we see Corey Lyles still electing to want to run that top, you know. A lot of people, a lot of drivers want to run the bottom when you want to go single file. But, you know, there's some of those select few that like to run the top here at Daytona.
Yeah, and Corey Lyles is one of them, and he is the leader, so he gets to control what these guys do behind him. And I think that's exactly what he wanted. If he likes to run that top and he could get up there, he's going to take full advantage of that. The amazing start that he got in the number 56 machine is going to allow him to take the lead, and as one car is going to go around in the back, Diego, but I think he caught it. What a save.
And he caught that car. What a save that. I mean, I thought that he was done for sure, but you see, it looks like the 99 of Christian right here also having an issue here. He needs to get linked up. That car might be broken.
I think he broke the right front on that car because I was watching it. He got into the 6 machine when it went sideways, and I think that the right front on that 99 machine is broken early. That's unfortunate for him. And also, looking at Diego, that car has a good amount of damage there on the right side. So already got a couple of guys farther behind on very early on in this one.
Yeah, unfortunate for Diego. Kind of had that same issue happen in the ARCA race. Got caught up in a wreck from behind, and then had to play catch up the rest of the race here. But now we have, what, a 7-8 car pack now. He was trying to battle for this lead pack.
Yeah, and that shuffled everything because that moved some drivers like Cash Culp and Trevor Huff, who were right at the back of that pack, now up there just off the tail end of those 3 Fords leading this one. And now we're seeing a little more balance in the manufacturers. There's 4 Fords compared to 3 Chevys in this group, but there's only 3 Fords hooked up, and there's 3 Chevys. Now we're going to see Trevor Huff look to the bottom, and the other Chevys follow in suit.
Dude, Trevor in that number 95 Heinz machine getting help from that Chevy Alliance here. And he's going to drop back in. Just couldn't find a run there. But I think these Chevys are a little bit more put together than the Fords are at this time. I think, and I think they now know that it's a 3v3 basically. That 11 of Gilbert right there hasn't really decided he wants to really make a move. He's kind of content just running back there. But you see these 3 Fords and 3 Chevys lined up.
Yeah, and right now, I definitely agree. The Fords seem a little bit less organized than the Chevys do. They seem to know when they want to make their moves, but I think they need to still get more bumper to bumper if they're going to try something like that. Trevor Huff has to know the right time to do it. All 3 of them have to have a run. Nobody can be hanging back because, you're just not going to make anything happen, and it would be a plus if they can get the 11 to go with them. If the 11 really doesn't care about the alliances, they could add a 4th car to that bottom lane and maybe even take the lead away.
I definitely agree, but it looks like Trevor is kind of lagging back a little bit. Maybe trying to develop a run here to try to dip to this inside sooner or later here.
Yeah, the 2 machine caught the wall, and then Braden Hunsicker also caught the wall going down the back straightaway. I'm honestly surprised that wasn't their opportunity. We could have slowed the car down just a little bit. It did not. And, man, they're still just sitting single file around the top, led by Corey Lyles up there from the drop of the green.
Yeah, it's definitely clear right here that these guys are kind of content running right now. I mean, 100 laps is a long time here at Daytona. And you got to think, you know, you saw that that lap 7, lap 6 crash kind of. And they're like, okay, well, even with 10 drivers, we can still write these things out by just running 2x2 at the time, right? So maybe they're content just running these laps out for a little bit. I mean, once again, 100 laps is so long here at Daytona.
Yeah, and it's interesting because not only were they running 2x2, they were trying to get single file when that happened. So I think it shows that any bit of movement that could really cost these guys maybe their whole race, and they've kind of decided that that's not what they want this early on. And to be fair, I wouldn't want that either. The 2 car's going to catch the wall. This is what Trevor Huff wanted. He's going to dump down to the bottom, and Braden Hunsticker's going to get left out to dry. This run is very spread out. I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything with it.
Yeah, Trevor just not being able to get the help he needs to, but they do have Cash and the 11 right there down there trying to help this bottom work now.
Yeah, and the top side is very spread out. Multiple car lengths between some of these drivers as the 2 car does start to close back up to Hodgson's back bumper. But we, for the first time in, I don't know, 5-6 laps, we saw a bottom lane come in. But as I say that, it's going to form right back into a single one and then go back to 2.
See that 11 elect to stick to the top now, so it's a 2v5 now. We'll see if these 2 Chevys can, you know, side draft their way up to the front here. As I say that, the 11 goes down to the bottom.
Yeah, and really using the side draft, as you mentioned, they're taking full advantage of it. Now we're seeing Hodgson maybe even try and block the run on the bottom. And if they can do that, this could really spice things up because you're blocking a run that possibly could be very big, although as I say that, these they're going to start to fall back as the 11's even going to leave them away. And I think what they really needed was Braden Hunsicker to be able to go with them, but I don't think he really cares too much about battling at this point. I think as the points leader, he just wants to be there at the end so he can try and extend his points lead.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, he can't afford to, you know, get caught up in something, especially this early, right? And go multiple laps down, right? Maybe towards the end when if he knows, you know, he's in a safe spot to battle. You see the 57 and the 2 get into the wall there. Maybe he can go up there and battle.
Well, that's going to change everything. That's going to put Hunsicker up into 3rd. I'm going to bring the 11 with him. These drivers are kind of struggling a little bit to keep the car off the wall. I don't know if maybe they're just running so close that they can't quite see it until they're basically on top of it. Now we're going to see Gilbert try and mount a run on the bottom side of Hunsicker, but without any help, I don't see that really going anywhere.
And you're going to see this 57 go to the outside of him, and to the back, the 11 goes once again.
Yeah, the 11 car really not able to make anything happen right now on his own. He needs to get more than one other partner even. He needs a couple, and at this stage in the race, it's going to be really difficult. And, I mean, hopefully he didn't lose the draft because he is dropping back.
Now, the 11 is maybe have just lost the draft to you. He's about 1 point. He's about 6/10 off, so definitely can help develop a run. But in these next-gen cars, when you lose the draft, it's so easy to lose it. If you lose just a little bit of momentum and lose that draft, it's so easy to lose the back end of this pack.
Yeah, and I think he did for sure. That's what it looks like. Unless he can tack on at the back of that 2 car, he's also kind of a little farther back. If you look at Diego, who is about, I mean, they are half a track behind, but him and Jude Okafor are bumper to bumper. They are tandeming right now, trying to catch up, and they are running around the bottom. So, I mean, last lap by, Diego ran a 49.3, and that's like 2 to 3 seconds off of your leaders. So they're going to need more than just the 2 of them. As we see, towards the front, Cash Colt make a move with the help from the 95, and actually we see the first block from Corey Lyles leaves the Ford out to the dry.
He saw that run. He took it. I mean, and now that shows it right there. Corey wants to control this race. It doesn't matter who Corey's getting pushed by. He wants to be out there. He wants to lead every lap he can out here. As we're 3 wide now, you see Trevor Huff try to lead this charge on the inside, and you see Cash Colt try to take the middle. I think he'll elect to go back up to the top, and you're going to see Kane Hodgson come up here and take this lead away.
Yeah, Corey Lyles basically ruined his run right there by going down to the bottom. He's going to need to remount one. But now we also see a lap car come into play as Lyles looks to the top. There, actually, he's going to just bring Hodgson with him and the 2 machine. And now Braden Hunsicker is, I mean, he's liking that. He's got a draft now. And we're basically back to where we were just a couple laps ago, except for the top 2 has swapped as they're going to work their way around the 99 machine of Kristen Zarate.
As Zarate, we saw, got caught up in that first lap wreck, and it looks like he came in and maybe have used a faster pay or something. That car looks a lot better than it used to, at least. Looks like a brand new car. So is 7 laps down here, so definitely needs a lot of help to get back on the lead lap. Now
we're seeing the Chevys make their move to the bottom. It is 3 Chevys versus 3 Fords. the balance is dead even right now, and we're seeing the first time Braden Hunsicker is going to try and make a move. He's in the middle of those 3 Chevrolet machines. Trevor Huff is leading that bottom lane, and Tayan Hodgson is hoping that Corey Lyles continues to push him out to the front and keep the Ford badge leading this pack here at Daytona. Caution. The 6th machine and Jude Okafor have gone around.
I see Diego and Jude back here. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Obviously, very off the pack here. Let's go ahead and take a high velocity TV replay as we already see 6 going around here. It just looks like a bad push by the 18 here. And just hooks the 6 into the outside wall. This dude working really hard to try to catch back up, but just a push gone wrong there.
Yeah, that's a big hit, too, for just having 2 cars right there. That is not what he needed, but I think Diego is going to have the opportunity now because they have a fast repair, correct?
I mean, I would assume so with how that 99 looks now.
Yeah, so this should allow him to take that fast repair. I mean, it's unfortunate you got to take it so early, but I think he honestly needs to at this point. He's gotten banged up on the right side, now the nose of that car, and maybe even the rear. I mean, the rear is kicked in pretty good, so he, it's gonna. I think you have to take it at this point if you really want to be competitive and stay with the draft. You don't want to lose the draft for the 2nd run in a row. That just would not be ideal. Might as well take it while you have the chance.
Yeah, those 2 needed a caution. I don't think they wanted to be the caution though, and I definitely agree. Either Diego, I mean, he needs to make a game time decision right now. Do you sit in the pits, try to take as much as you can, or do you elect to take that fast repair with 17 of 100 complete?
Yeah, and I wonder what Jude Okafor is going to do, too, because that car, I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but he definitely had a pretty good impact when that 6-car pogoed off the wall into him. So, I mean, if he elects to pit here and take that fast repair, that'd be very interesting to me. I don't think that car really needs it, but he was fast very early on, like, really good. Took the lead led the first lap, so I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do back in this main pack, as long as that car's not too damaged to hang with them.
Yeah, I'm looking at this 18, and it says the 32 in the session, but I don't really see hardly any damage on this car, so I think he's good. You know, come in, top off on fuel, as I presume. Oh, he just blew the engine.
Hey, I didn't even. Wow, that is not what you needed.
Well, I hope that wasn't a commentator's curse right there, but we talked about him being fast, talked about him just needing to come down and take care of that car, and looks like he might have downshifted too much and blew the engine on that number 18 car.
That is unlucky. The money shift coming into the pit lane after you just got off scot-free from a wreck. He might not even get to his box. Man, that is a very unfortunate turn of events. I mean, that is a weird spot to have a money shift if that's what it was.
We're going to go on board with them.
He did, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Went from 4th to 2nd right there. And that engine could not handle that. So that is yeah, I'm trying to decipher in my head how you even if you have a sequential shifter, I mean, you're gonna have to go down twice, right? And in an H pattern, you have to go from down to down, right? So
that's weird. Maybe he did double downshift. Maybe he like accidentally double downshifted.
Yeah,
if he has paddles, he maybe clicked the paddles twice, or
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's because like a lot of drivers, especially in the oval community, unless you have like a very expensive sim rig and everything else, you don't have a sequential shifter. A lot of these NASCAR drivers, you know, just use the paddles on the wheel. I know I do. So maybe just misclicked. It's so easy, you know. You think you clicked it and you didn't. Sometimes you accidentally click it too many times, and you saw that number 18 just blow the engine on there. I think he got down to his pit box. Is gonna be forced to use that fast repair. That car looks pretty clean despite the damage, but is now gonna be forced to use that fast repair.
Yeah, if you have really light paddles on your shifter, just like twitching your hand when you go to downshift and like when you come off of it could absolutely, I mean, that could cause a double downshift. I've done it before. And I mean, even people who have a sequential, a lot of the time I see, and even I do this, I use my paddles. It's just easier. It's easier to set up that way. So I mean, I would guess that that's probably what happened. It's such a weird case to have that happen on the banking and turn 4 at Daytona before you'd even really be on the brakes for the pit lane.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they weren't going race pace. Obviously, with the caution coming out, they're probably a little bit slowed down. You see Diego come out of the pit road there, decides to not take that fast repair. He tried to take as much damage as he can, and he's going to take that number 6 Kings of Lion car back on track.
Yeah, and Trevor Huff is the leader here, even though, I mean, he elected to take the top. Corey Lyles is going to be starting on the bottom. So and I think the good thing here is Trevor Huff has Cash Colt behind him, and that's who he's been working with the whole entire race so far. And if he can get out in front of Corey Lyles, he might be able to do what Corey Lyles did in that first race and really throw a wrench in Lyles' plans, because as we've seen, he really does value leading the race. He's shown he's tried to make blocks even only 10 laps into this one. So, actually 20 laps into it, but around 10 laps is when they started to make a move. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if those Chevys can do anything, because they tried doing a little bit right before that caution came out, but Trevor Huff has been the one to lead the Chevys every time they've tried something, so now he can maybe get his moment of glory and try and take the lead.
Yeah, definitely. Trevor's one of those drivers as well, who wants to be up here leading the race. I'm very familiar with him, as I used to broadcast the Schumacher Racing League, and I think Cash was also in that league. So these two very familiar with each other, know each other very well off the track. So back when I was doing my FCN broadcasting, you know, Trevor was very competitive up there in the SRL, and flexing his stuff right now up here, leading the top side.
And they are going green right now.
We are.
Slight technical difficulty there with the cameras, but we are back going green. Trevor Huff did get down to the bottom in front of Corey Lyles, and Lyles, though, looks to try and make a move to the top, poking that nose of that Ford Mustang Dark Horse to the top, but decides to tuck in behind because he doesn't quite have the other Fords behind him cleared of that Chevy of Cash Culp on the top side.
That top's starting to get a little bit of a runner, and Cash is going to almost be side-by-side going into turn 3 here.
Yeah, and that's not what Lyles wants, because he already has kind of shown his noses. We're going to see Huff go to the top side and give Lyles the bottom. I don't know if I would have done that. The bottom lane has more numbers, and, I mean, that's just, I mean, it's led by Corey Lyles, who's been leading this whole entire race. I mean, I don't doubt Trevor Huff's ability. He has been really doing a good job leading, but we've shown that the drivers who are in that line, that 11 machine, has struggled to kind of help work together, and we're going to see Braden Hunsicker drop out. Now it's only going to be 3 cars on the top. I don't know if really moving up to the top was the best move to do there for Trevor Huff.
Yeah, I think Trevor just really trusted Cash to get him up to the lead again, but I mean, Cash is definitely a good pusher, but Cash also needs help to give him the push, right? And as you mentioned, that 11 has just not really been the guy to help with these runs, so he's kind of been willing to want to sit in the back, and that's going to really affect Cash Culp's run here, and he's going to probably drop to the back here.
Yeah, and obviously Trevor Huff probably got, like, best case scenario there. He ended up dropping in 4th, which is, it worked out pretty good for him. That he did not drop all the way to the back. That could have been bad. He's going to slot in right in the middle of the Fords there, right in front of Diego, right behind Hayden Hodgson. And, I mean, I'm guessing shortly we're going to see this migrate to the top, because Corey Lyles has shown that that is the lane he wants to run. As we're going to see Diego try to make a move to the top. Cash Culp is going to leave him out there. I feel like it would have been beneficial to get hooked up there with the 6 machine.
Yeah, I think Diego just wasn't very precise and very determined to kind of get up there. You kind of came up to the top and was like, maybe. You need to either be on the top or you need to not be on the top. You can't kind of slowly work your way up there. If you're gonna go up there and lead that line, you got to get up there and block that run. So
Cash Culp almost, I mean, the 11 car is not really on his bumper. He's just side drafting his way, and he's gotten up to 4th car on the inside line, and that is Trevor Huff, the driver who they were trying to work together earlier in this race. I think it is very interesting that that 6th machine of Diego, that they did not take a fast repair. If you look at the rear bumper, that machine is still kicked in from the previous incident. So I wonder how well that car is going to work, especially if it gets out front, if it's going to be able to lead the pack or not. Cash Culp's going to drop in front of his Chevy cohort there in the 95 machine, and is going to leave the 11 of Gilbert out to dry.
And you see that 99 pushing the 11 now. Obviously, he's several laps down, but he's not even the first. He is the first car laps down. Currently, I think 4. But I mean, right now, maybe trying to get one of those laps back the hard way.
And these guys battling has allowed the top 3/4 to pull away. And man, is Matthew White Andrew White this race?
Oh, Andrew White, yes. That Andrew White's name in the sim was always Andrew, but Noah, our league owner, had informed me that his actual name is Matthew. So they changed his name in the league session, so it does show his proper name now. So.
All right, so Matthew White, he is pushing Corey Lyles. He's basically been doing it since we got back to the green. Originally, it was Hudson the run before, but White is really up on the bumper of Lyles, like basically locking bumpers. And while it is working very well, it has allowed them to pull out a couple times. I mean, obviously now they've kind of all merged back together, but I would be a little bit worried if I'm Matthew White here about your engine temps. It is so easy to overheat the motors on these next-gen machines when you're that close to a driver. And I know he really wants to work here, but I think it's beneficial for Corey Lyles if he leaves a little bit of lane on the bottom in the corners. Stay about a half a lane off that yellow line. I know me and you have done this, Christian. Leave a little bit on the bottom so that the driver who is running in second could get a little air on their nose in the corners when maybe the pushing isn't as helpful. And then on the straightaways, they can do a lot more.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, as the pusher and our, when we work together, right? I definitely always want that little bit of air just to help cool the engine off, because you can't push down the straights if you're overheating, and it doesn't take that much time to cool these engines off. Really, you get just a big dump of air in the corners, and you're usually pretty good throughout the whole race to push as hard as you want down the straight. So, maybe Matthew can communicate to the Corey right there. Hey, I'm not gonna take advantage of it. Just give me a little bit of room up there so I can cool off my engine so we can continue to dominate this race.
Yeah, and a lot of it is trust. You got to trust that driver behind that they are not going to try and steal that lane from you. But in the long run, it's going to help not only the driver behind who needs the engine, but it's going to be the driver in front, because they're going to have a valuable pusher for a lot longer and a lot more efficient. So I think that definitely would be smart if they can maybe make something work like that, because, I would be very worried about a motor going, especially this early in this one, because it doesn't take long for the temps to start to rise.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think right now Andrew should be in the clear right here. He's not really gotten up close enough to really start to overheat that engine. You need to really be, pushing and making contact on these straights for that engine to start to be concerned. Right now he's been pretty cautious and really hasn't gotten up to the rear end to actually tandem draft at 56 out to the front here. Obviously he doesn't need to, right? Everybody's lined up, single file, content just running where they are once again. I think right now it's just kind of pushing the guy out in front and worrying about maintaining that car.
We do see him really start to get up underneath the rear spoiler there. The 56 machine really pushed him down the straightaway, but as you see in the corners, he just kind of backs off of him. If you leave that little bit on the bottom, you don't need to do that. You don't really need to back off of him. You can stay there and still be with him at the exit of the corner, but just have your car cooling down a little more. It works a lot better. And some people could argue that, Corey Lyles, it's not the quickest way around if he's got to stay half a lane off that double yellow line, but if the guy behind you is not going to pass you, if you know he's not going to pass you, then might as well do it, because everybody else is going your pace if you're controlling this pack here.
No, I definitely agree, and that is a good point that, if you're not running on that double yellow, right, that's not the fastest way around. And that's, you can say that running the top is faster because you're getting a bigger run off the top. So it's, who says who, right? What's the best way around? And in my opinion, it's just depending on what drivers you have, what the drivers are more comfortable doing. Like we saw at the start of the race, everybody wanted to run the top. Well, Corey wanted to run the top, and he was, predicting what everybody else did, right? And you saw that a lot of those drivers were having issues on the top, and now you see everybody electing to run the bottom here.
Yeah, and I wonder if Corey Lyles might be doing that also as a fuel concern. Everybody came down on that last one, and maybe they're trying to aim for a specific mark here. So, and if you're running around the bottom, you are gonna be burning less fuel. I mean, it is shorter. It's a shorter way around. You're not gonna get the runs off the corners like you would on the top, but it could definitely benefit you fuel-wise. If fuel's not a concern, then if you want to run the top, go run the top. I mean, that's what they did in the first one. But I'm wondering if that might be something that's playing into the decision making here of your leader in the 56.
No, I definitely agree, and Right now, as we see the top, as we talk about it, we see the top developing here. Cash Cope leading that top lane, getting pushed by that 99 of Christian right there. The lapper helping, trying to develop this top.
If they get a good enough run, are we going to see one of those top three try and make a move to block? And they're going to already tuck back in, as we're going to see Lyles jump to the middle of the track, go to defend up high, and maybe now this is where we're going to see them go and wrap around the white wall on the high side of this super speedway, and that is exactly what is happening. We are back to where we were about 20 laps ago, and already Cash Culp has got to be kicking himself. He can't catch a break. Anytime these guys move to the top, it's basically him and Trevor Huff who are the ones trying to catch up.
You can see where they're at, the race fans at home, how close they're getting to that wall there from that backstretch camera we have set up there. I mean, and you saw how easy, and we saw earlier in the race how easy it is just to get into the wall just a little bit, because you never think, like, for a fan at home, right, you're, you know, a foot, you know, even sometimes making contact with the driver in front of you. It's so hard to see where the wall is in front of you, because you just got a face full of the rear end of the guy in front of you. So easy to get up there and just tag it just a little bit.
It's very easy to, and when you do tag it, I mean, you can, it'll grab you to just pull you in, and then you almost can't get out of it unless you get off the throttle. And a lot of the time what you'll see in iRacing here is you'll see guys go up, hit that wall, and then they yank the car down and they cause a wreck. So that's not what they want, and obviously that's not what Cash Culp wants, because he's trying to make that bottom lane work, and as we're going to see that, the 21's going to catch the wall, and a lot of damage on the right side of that Ford Mustang.
Yeah, it looks like almost Cash got a bad bump by Trevor. Got up into the 21. 21 got up into the wall, and you saw that 99 gear leaf probably getting the worst end of that, because he was behind the 21, and he needs to get back up there. He's going to lose the draft again.
Yeah, and looking at it, I think it was netcode. They didn't actually even make contact, but the way that the smoke rolled off the Cash Culp's car, it looked like possible netcode there, which is very unfortunate for Tane Hudson, who was running great. I mean, basically top three all the race, and now he's going to be the one who is trying to catch up. And, man, I mean, that sucks for last week's winner.
Yeah, and he definitely has already lost the draft too. He needs to back up to that 99 and just hope that he will be willing to help. We saw the 99 was willing to help push the cars out in front, but definitely has already lost the draft in a very tough break. I mean, nothing he did wrong there. Just got kind of shoved into the wall by that by a bat. Looks like just Cash just got a little bit of an aggressive push and had to walk that car up the track.
I just heard the 99 say over the radio that he is willing to have the 21 machine back up to him. So we might see them start to work together. As you can kind of see down the back straightaway there, as now we're going to focus on those two. They are going to try and work together, it sounds like, which, I mean, best case scenario, they're not going to catch these guys, but they can at least try and minimize the damage.
Yeah, exactly. And right now the 99 really has nothing to lose here. He's 4 laps down. He really needs a caution to get his lap back, right? So as you can see him catch this high velocity Ford Mustang right here. He's going to give a huge shot to him in the tri-oval.
And this front group has caught Diego as he's about to go a lap down here. This is not what the 99 needs. I wonder if that damage has slowed that 6 machine up. Obviously, these guys are running around the top. 6 is down on the bottom. But, I mean, that is not what the 99 needs. It's going to add insult to injury here as the 6 machine goes 1 lap down, I believe.
That will put Diego a lap down there. Him not taking that faster period, he's probably kicking himself for not doing that now. I mean, obviously a long race to go, but that car does seem to be off the pace quite a bit now. So definitely probably kicking himself for electing to try to just repair that car the best he can instead of just taking that fasty, taking the bullet.
It's such a hard call to make this early in the race. You don't want to, like, you know, you don't want it to just, you don't want your whole entire race to possibly fall apart because of something like that. You don't know what you're going to get into later. And it is so difficult to make that decision, but I think he definitely made the wrong call, and he's going to have to live with it here until we get another one.
Trevor Huff trying to work this inside once again. He's got the help from the 11. Levin's actually willing to give some shoves right now, and he, you know, Trevor doing a good job trying to side draft this top back, but once again, the numbers are always going to be the advantage here.
I think what these guys are doing is sitting around until that stage break. It's lap 50 is when that stage break is. We're about 13, 14 laps out. These drivers, they probably want to save up until then, make sure they make it there on this tank pit during that stage. But I mean, I really don't even know if we'll see anything until a couple laps before the end of the stage, when these drivers really, really might take advantage of a caution coming soon.
Exactly. I think right now they're kind of strategizing. They're trying to figure out who's going to work with me to go up there and take the lead here. I presume it's not a stage like a stage like. I don't think they're going to be awarded any points. It's just kind of a halfway caution. But still, I mean, you're definitely going to want to take advantage of a caution ensuing, right? And maybe gain some track position. So now I feel like they're just planning out, like, okay, us Chevys need to work together to, maybe get past these two Fords, or, it seems like Matthew's done a really good job just being a good pusher to this 56 out here. So 55, my apologies. And I think they're just sitting in there trying to ride around until the time has come.
Yeah, and like you said, like, no points awarded, but you still want that, as we're just going to see Cash Culp drop down and try and make that bottom lane work. Almost got turned off the bumper of Trevor there, but they're actually going to get to the inside of Corey Lyles. Tandem drafting to the lead, the two Chevys. And right now, Cash Culp has the lead, and he's brought the 95 with him. They are clear all around. Up to the top they go. Now Chevy's trying to command the race here.
See the 11 get up into the 56 right there. And that's the one thing I love about these next gens. If you can get hooked up, you can legitimately tandem draft in these things. Not for a long time, because once you just break that bubble just a little bit, it's hard to get it back. But it's the coolest thing in the world to see is these next gens just like hooking up like the old COTs did.
Yeah, and I remember when this car first came out on iRacing, that was something that we talked about, was that a possible tandem could come into play, because when they first really did show up, it was like that. You could tandem them, so it's really cool to see that come in, and I think it is actually kind of nice that it's not a full-on tandem, because full-on tandem, sometimes it gets a little spread out. So we're going to see a big move to the bottom there by Matthew White. He's going to take the bottom lane away and bring two other Fords with him, and they're all hooked up on the bottom. The Chevys are left out to dry. Ford back out front, but this time it's the two machine of Matthew White.
Yeah, Corey repaying the favor for all that good pushing he did to him, and now Matthew out there leading the race.
Yeah, he has done a phenomenal job and kind of just worked his way up. I mean, man, keeping it together, it's what you need to do, and now he commands this one, so we're going to see if he wants the bottom or the top, but he's got basically your current, I think, most laps led driver behind him in Corey Lyles, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. I think Lyles is somebody great to have behind you, especially because he is also a Ford. Right now, it's 3 Ford, 3 Chevys, right as we saw right before that caution came out.
But you have to think, did these Fords make the move too early? I mean, yeah, you had 3 Fords, but now you also have 3 Chevys lined up behind these Fords. With 10 to go here, did they make this move too early?
Yeah, and we've seen the side draft work in these drivers' favor, and the Chevys have been the cars to actually really use it so far in this race. Cash Culp and Trevor Huff have done a great job. The 11 is actually going to leave his Ford teammates, I guess, out of the way, but then dips to the inside and is going to take the second spot away from Corey Lyles, and Lyles is now going to go towards the back of this pack.
And Lyle's probably very surprised. As you see it, Matthew White going to the bottom, and now they're going to take the other Ford, the other dominant Ford is going to go right to the back with Corey.
Gilbert's going to take the lead for the first time today. He drops down, and the Chevys with the momentum. Trevor Huff now trying to bring that Heinz 95 back to the front with the help from Cash Culp. It's 2 Chevys on the top and then 2 Fords on the bottom, and each of them have a Ford and a Chevy on the outside. They're kind of separated out as Trevor Huff goes to the bottom. He leaves he basically left his teammate out there to dry there at Cash Culp. he really does not care, right? He wants to lead this one, wants to control this one, and right now that is what he is doing. He took he took Joshua Gilbert's really short-lived lead away very quickly.
But here comes Andrew White on the top here. Will he get any help? No, he won't. And to the back, Matthew goes. Maybe. I thought maybe he would really go back, but he's kind of working outside on his own right here.
He's showing that side draft that we talked about. I mean, it can work. Nearly contact between him and the 11. I'd be a little worried side drafting that 11 machine. It seems like that car is not quite as stable in the corners, and if you get too close, possibly, I mean, we could have something that's going to end in tears here. 7 laps before the end of the stage, and now the Fords are back hooked up on the top. That is not what Trevor Huff wanted to see. Matthew White, Corey Lyles back leading one of these lanes, but this time it is not for the lead of the race.
You're seeing Corey doing a great job pushing this number 2 car out in front, and Matthew doing the best he can with the side drafting and everything to stay alive here with going the 6 to go here to the stage.
Yeah, now we're seeing Corey Lyles do exactly what Matthew was doing before, giving basically right up under that rear spoiler, giving him a huge shove. And I wonder if we see Cash Culp try something here, because he got left out to dry. I don't know if he's going to be too keen on helping out Trevor Huff. So as we see this, Matthew White's going to get shoved towards the front. Does he stay up high? He does. Stays with his loyal pusher there of Corey Lyles, and that's going to lose them the lead going into 1 and 2, but they're going to get the run off the high side, and they're going to do a drag race down the back straightaway.
You got to think that I don't think Matthew is going to drop down here. I think he wants to clear both of these Fords before, and they will clear. What a job by those two to take the lead back. But you got to think that 95 has a run now with four cars lined up there. He's probably going to go to outside and try to take this lead right back.
It really shows the value of not only side draft, but having a good pusher right there. Corey Lyles did everything he needed to do, and the bottom lane was just not quite bumper to bumper like they were up high. They tandem, they work hard, and they got to the front. And in almost no time, a huge shot to the back bumper there, Corey Lyles from the 95 machine, and just absolutely throwing one to the back bumper there, that Ford Mustang.
And right now, once again, single file here, 5 to go in the stage. Once again, I think it's back to, I mean, they're definitely going to be way more aggressive right now, but once again, it's like, who do you have to work with right now? We know this 56, we know this 2 have worked together very well. We know the 11 is kind of doing what he needs to just to stay up here. Now these Chevys need to make a plan to try to get around these 2 Fords once again.
Yeah, and honestly, I think right now, if they're going to make a move, they basically have the numbers to do it, because we've seen that Gilbert has not really stuck with the Fords. He's just kind of gone with whatever's going to get him to the front. So I think you mind it. I mean, if you're going to make the move, I think it's going to be 4v2, honestly, for those Chevys if Trevor Huff decides to go for it. But he's got to pick the right time, because we've seen how those front 2 can work together really good and can even gain a lot, as we're going to see Corey Lyles go to the outside of the 2 machine, and Trevor Huff surprisingly didn't go with him, but they almost just got too separated there. That was a weird moment. Maybe did Corey Lyles show his hand too early there?
I don't know. It looks like to me it was just like, I'm getting too hot, I need some air, right? He came out there, cleaned, got that nose cooled off. He's doing it again. You see that? I think, you know, he's been a lot more aggressive with these pushes than Andrew was. I think he was just getting a little hot, came out there, got some clean air on that nose, and then shot back down.
Yeah, you got to be careful of that, though, because if he does that at the wrong time, Trevor Huff could have a run and get to his inside. And, I mean, that could send him possibly to the back. Maybe we see Andrew jump up to high to help him. But, man, he's going to have to be smart about this one. You do not want to give up that double yellow line. That's why I like having the leader leave a little bit, because you don't want to have your drafting partner get shuffled out to the high side when you're left with everybody who's trying to beat you.
Yeah, exactly. As we see, okay, the 56 having a little bit of an issue there, but he's going to save it. But once again, single file here, going 2 to go here. Everybody's still running single file. If you got to go, I mean, you got to start developing these runs now with how few cars are left in this front pack. It's going to take a good lap or 2 to, you know, develop a run here, I feel like.
The issue is that they're not very together. The 11 car tried to make a move to the outside of Cash Culp that last time, and it did not work, but it kind of separated them. I think Trevor Huff might need to make the move now, and he needs help from Braden Hunsinger, Cash Culp, and Joshua Gilbert. I think that all four of them are going to need to work together if they want to get past this front power too.
No, I definitely agree. It's just either got to be Trevor, it's got to be Braden. One of those two are the guys that have to make the move. If Trevor's content running back there, I think Braden could maybe make something happen with the two cars behind him. But they got to start making something now. Last lap, you got to. I mean, in my opinion, it might even be too late to make a move now with how dominant these front two are. Plus, they have the draft of that lap car in the 4 shot.
Corey Lyles goes to the top. He's going to leave Andrew White down on the bottom. Wow, did not see that coming. The Fords split up as they approach a lap car. Trevor Huff trying to find a way around the 56 with the help from Gilbert. I cannot believe that Matthew White was left out to dry. Huff goes down to the bottom, leaves Lyles out, and now it's going to be Trevor Huff coming to the line.
Here comes the 11. Not going to be there yet, but lap 50 right there, and we should be getting a caution any time here.
Yeah, waiting for the caution, and that may have been a little late based off of that. I think it's going to give Cash Culp second.
Yeah.
They're going to need to fix that, I think.
Yeah. When it comes to points, right, like they can go back in their timing and scoring and be like, okay, you know, 11 wasn't second, but this isn't for points. This is just like a competition caution. And that 11 went up there, made the move to keep second place, and was expecting the caution to come out as soon as they crossed the line there. And fortunately, a little bit late on the button there.
You see, that's the issue with not having official stages in iRacing, which is something we really do need. I mean, we've both come from leagues that have run with stages. It's really weird because even if you call it, you know, set to call it after lap 10, or after the 10th place guy has passed the line on whatever lap, you could still have some people pass if they aren't quite sure. Maybe they don't know, they're in the heat of a battle, and yeah, it is just kind of really rough to do it properly. But I mean, that's just part of it, having manufactured stages. But I mean, honestly, a phenomenal job there from Trevor Huff to make the move with help from Gilbert, and those two, they did it right. They deserve those top 2 spots.
I definitely agree. Great job by Trevor right there to make the runs as he goes. And honestly, I'm very surprised that Corey left. Andrew kind of shafted them. Matthew falling back to the back of that field right there. He's probably just as surprised as we are that he got left on the last lap right there. Because unfortunately, not only did it cost Matthew a chance to win that stage, no one went with that 56, and it costed him a ton of spots there.
It's pretty crazy that none of the Fords there actually won that one. They were working so well together, and they just fell apart. Like, I don't know. That could be a sign to see what's to come later on. If I'm Andrew White, I'm maybe a little more... I'm thinking about that a little more if I really want to be working with Corey Lyles coming out of the final couple laps, because obviously you want to win, but, I mean, how quick is he going to be to leave you out to dry?
No, I agree, and now almost that trust is broken, right? It's like Andrew probably thought he had a pretty set in stone partner, and then he just got left out to dry when the time came, right? So now you have to think that 56 is a little hop right there. I don't know what that was, but see the 95 come out here with the lead here.
56 cars got on them air jacks, and man, maybe he blew all 4 tires and lifted them up in the air.
Yeah. And all of those tires up as much as he could. I mean, you paid for them, you might as well use them. So,
Norrie's got a really strong pit lane. They didn't need jacks, and they just threw it up in the air.
There he is. Yeah. It only takes a couple seconds to take with these one lugs on these new Goodyear tires, right? You just need to throw it up just for a split second, just that tire out. So.
They got that F1 picker.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, I mean, interesting pit stops there. Trevor Huff's going to come out with the lead, and the 11 car, Joshua Gilbert, for coming in second on the stage, he's going to lose a good amount of spots. He's going to drop down to 4th, and Cash Culp is going to be second. I do think it's very interesting that those two are not going to be able to work together on the initial start. They're going to have to line up side by side. They've been together the whole race. somebody's going to have a Chevy behind them and somebody's going to have a Ford. If I'm Trevor Hoff, I think I pick to have Braden Hunsicker behind me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Braden's leading the points for a reason. I mean, he's very fast, very smart, and he's put himself in a good spot to be up here without getting involved in incidents like you saw with the 21, you saw with the 6 and the 99, and everybody else. He's just been up there very quietly, just in the top 5 the whole race.
Yeah, I mean, it really is the sign of a champion. He's very calm about it. There's no reason to really push super hard and no reason to really be going for it. He has been probably one of the few drivers who hasn't really made a big move. He's gone with a couple of them, but nothing really crazy. He knows the value being there at the end. That's why he has such a big points lead and why he is, 4 wins on the season. I mean, he is going to be there at the end. If he's not, it's not his doing that does not put him at the end.
I definitely agree. I mean, he's shown that championship mentality all season. He's at the start of the season when for these mile and a halves, he was the guy who saved the tires and drove his way back up through the field. Right, every time he was the one that saved his equipment and drove his way back up and was there at the end to make that pass for the win. That's why he has those 4 wins. It's just because of either just spit out pace or just saving his equipment and being there at the end to steal a win away from some of these other drivers.
For sure. I'm not exactly sure. They don't have a choose cone rule, do they?
I think they might have a choose cone. You see Trevor take the top here and a little bit of a blink out, but you see Trevor take the top, so he will be getting pushed by Braden. You're going to see Cash getting lined up with Corey Lyles right here.
Yeah, for a second I thought that they were... Well, I think that makes sense. I'm pretty sure that is how... I thought it was just leader has choice, but... Yeah, this makes more sense to what I think we would have seen anyway. So, yeah, right now Trevor Hoff, he's got Chevy behind him, and Cash Culp has got Corey Lyles behind him, which I don't know if that's really the best for Cash, because Corey Lyles is gonna want to get with the other Fords. He's shown it the whole race, so, and he has his other 2 Fords that he has been working with. So we're gonna see what he is going to be able to do. Pace car is gonna make the hard left into the pit lane, and these drivers are gonna roll through the Geico restart zone and get ready. Green flag, pedal to the floor. 2 Chevys leading them back to the green here after lap 50.
See Trevor leave the 9 there, and he's going to actually get up and clear the 57 here. 9's going to be able to get down on the bottom. Looks like that 11's going to be the lone soldier out on the top here.
Yeah, shades of Corey Lyles on the initial start of the race there. Get down in front of the guy who was starting on the opposing lane to you, and now we're going to see those Chevys try and do what the Fords did for the first half of this race. Trevor Hoff, he saw the chance to go for it right before the end of that stage, took the... I guess the win in the stage, you can call it that, and now finds himself out front and with the help of the other Chevy of Cash Culp.
Let's see if these two can replicate kind of what that Lyles White combo was of them just getting up there and dominating. They're going to see them go up to the top here, and I think everybody's going to just stay on the bottom here. Oh, you see the 95, a huge block on Corey Lyles.
And Cash Culp has just got to be so fuming right now. He goes up to the top, makes a risky move. It doesn't work, and he is the one who pays the price for it. Trevor Hoff continues to lead. Cash Culp gets dropped back to third to last car in line. And I bet Corey Lyles is probably a little peeved right now. He just got a huge block thrown on him that was extremely aggressive. Man, these guys still have a lot of time to go. We're starting to see it heat up a little bit.
I mean, we're just a little over halfway to go, so they still have to run another 50 odd, a little under 50 odd laps here, and I feel like this is not that time to race yet. I mean, with 44 to go, still a ton of racing to do here.
Yeah, the Fords just made the move to the top, and now they're going to jump to the bottom. Cash Culp's going to break them up in the back. Corey Lyles was the first out of the top 3 to move up, and Trevor Hoff was able to go with him. So right now, top 3 are back on the top side. The bottom lane does have some drivers, but not nearly enough. I think they got to do the tandem like White and Lyles were able to do earlier if they want to get past them.
And you're seeing that 6 was leading in the bottom there. And once again, we know he has that damage, and you see him starting to fall behind. So Cash and this 99 need to help this 6 car get back up there. I think he's not damaged enough. You see the Trevor Huff getting to the wall there.
Yeah, and he lost the lead. He got left out to dry and went all the way. I mean, he was stuck all the way up high there. He couldn't even get down to the middle lane. That's going to give Corey Lyles the lead back and put Braden Hunsicker in second. Lyles back to his normal form that he showed early on, and Hunsicker, the highest up he has been all race, trying to slowly work his way up to leading this one.
Yeah, Braden showing that, you know, if he needs to go, he can go out here, and he's actually going to take the lead here. I don't know what I think. Corey thought that these Fords would work with them, and he's going to go to the back.
Corey just said on the radio, I listened to it, he gave a warning. He said, I'm going high, don't go with me. I don't know what's wrong with that car. Maybe he just wants to relax, maybe save some gas being at the back. But he specifically told drivers not to go with him. Even when White tried to go high, he said, don't go with me. So Corey Lyles deciding to go to the back here.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what he's trying to do here. I mean, he's been leading the majority of this race, and you know, fuel, if they go green flag to flag, I mean, you do have to think about fuel strategy here. So you see the 95 and the 56, kind of the two dominant people out of their manufacturers up to this point, right? And they're in the back trying to save fuel. You see Cash also doing the same thing.
Yeah, maybe these drivers are coming a little more aware. Braden Hunsicker is leading for the first time today. Your points leader is now your leader at Daytona as the sun is starting to lower down. We're seeing a glare as these drivers roll out of 3 and 4. You saw it on the right side of the car there. And down the front straightaway, still single file as they're driving off into the sunset, now on lap 60 of 100.
Once again, you see these drivers single file. Once again, and kind of being where they are. I mean, 31 laps to go here. And that's not the correct math at all. But you see these drivers single file content. You know, a lot of these drivers, we saw the 56 drop back, we saw the 95 drop back, we saw the 57 drop back. You know, trying to save fuel here, maybe trying to strategize who they can work with, who they can't once again.
Yeah, I think that's smart, honestly. You don't know how long of a green flag run you're going to get here. That last one, I mean, they were talking about maybe not making it on that last run for the stage. Obviously, they did, but I mean, if we see a run longer than that, these drivers might have to pit, and it really could come down to who has saved enough to where they can pit with their teammates. I mean, right now, the good thing for the Fords is there's no Fords leading. I mean, none of them are leading, so they're all having the opportunity to save right here. And Braden Hunsicker, who is, I mean, the Chevys they need their numbers to balance out the Fords, especially with how well they've been working together. So, I don't know, this could possibly throw a wrench in their whole thing if Chevy has to pit a little sooner than the Fords do.
TV drivers all lined up, and I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that we talked about that championship mentality for Braden. He has to know that, you know, these guys in the back are trying to save fuel here. Honestly, I know leading laps here at Daytona is great and all, but you know, with him being a leader, he's got to be full gas, you know, the whole way around leading this field. You got to think in the back of his mind, he's got to be thinking about fuel in the back.
Yeah, I wonder what his game plan is here, if he does plan to work with the other Chevys or if he plans to pit with everybody, just like whoever the most is. Man, it's going to be interesting. I think really also it's going to be interesting to see what the 11 does. I feel like he's almost the deciding vote here. Joshua Gilbert has been the driver to work with anybody. And while you have it's basically almost, I mean, what do we got? We got 4 Chevys and 4 Fords that have been working together, and then you have Joshua Gilbert, who's a Ford, but has been working with both Chevys and Fords. So he could almost be the deciding vote here on really what happens come pit stop time.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm going to give a shout out to Diego right here. I mean, he's got that damaged car, but sitting in there in 4th place, just riding around right here. I mean, what a recovery for him. Back on the lead lap, got his lap back from that competition caution, and now up here in the 4th spot.
Yeah, and still got that rear end damage, but it's not slowing him down at all. He's giving a big push there to Tane Hodgson, and it's also cool to see Tane back up here. Obviously, we saw him get into the wall, coming through the corner they're rolling through right now, 3 and 4, and he is back up into 3rd, where he was running for the first, probably about half the race.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Tane kind of get squeezed up in the wall there and lose the pack here. But luckily did not get lapped before that lap 50 caution came out. So, and as you say, and up here in that last podium spot here, like I said, it looks like everybody's just content running around trying to save fuel behind this leader of the 9 car.
Really impressed with those Fords, their ability to kind of just work together. They've been doing a good job of it, just finding each other, and staying together when they do. And I like that you mentioned Diego, because he is the kind of wild card on the Ford team here, because we haven't seen him this whole race. He has been just kind of catching up. So I'm interested to see how he's going to work with the other Fords that have been, had their pattern that they have been following this whole entire race.
Remember, you have to think, Diego hasn't really been a part of this main pack for a lot of the time. Got caught up in that last wreck. But you also have to think Diego and Tane are teammates. So obviously he's probably going to work with these Fords, but he's probably going to be a lot more favorable towards this 21 car who's in front of him.
And if that happens, could we see those two maybe capitalize if we see something similar to what we saw at the end of the stage coming to the end of this one? If those Fords get hooked up and we see Corey Lyles on the back bumper white again, and they just separate, we could possibly see those teammates stick together a little longer and capitalize, get them both a good finishing position, and possibly even a win if they stick together just a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think that's a great possibility for these two. I mean, you're seeing the chemistry already right now, them lining up. You see him see the 6 giving a pretty good shot to the 21 every once in a while, just trying to keep him up there. And obviously we know, Tane knows how to get it done at the road courses, and sitting up here in P3, right? Obviously a great recovery for him, and so we know he knows how to get it done here, and having an actual teammate, not just a manufacturer one that you can rely on, but having an actual teammate that will work with you, such a huge factor here.
Interesting how these drivers are running they're kind of sitting a lane off the bottom, and I wonder what exactly they're doing. I don't know if it almost looked like Andrew Wright was trying to get the pack to jump to the top, the way he was signaling his car up to the high side, but I'm guessing it's probably getting air on the nose, but I think at a time where you need gas, I would be a little wary about doing that.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. In my opinion, I don't know. I don't feel like, because Andrew has not been really getting to the nose of that 9 car, really. He hasn't really been given those shows. He's just kind of arrow pushing him out with that bubble system that these next gens have. I'm honestly clueless, because I don't think he's been really pushing that car enough to need the clean air. But and I also agree that if you're trying to save fuel here, the top is probably the worst place to be. Because, I mean, it's the longest way around the track. You're going to be using more. Especially if you're going to lead the top, you're going to be burning tremendously a lot more. So,
and them moving up in the corners like that is almost leveling the playing field out for Braden. They're closer now. They're going to get closer on gas to where he is. They're going longer around while he's having to use more of the gas, but he's taking a slightly shorter way around. If I'm Braden and I'm leading and I'm here, I'm leading, I'm here, this is what's happening, that is exactly what I'd want to see in my mirror.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, they can definitely lift to get to Braden, but also you see it. I think Andrew's honestly probably 3/4 half throttle right here. I mean, he hasn't gotten to the back end of that 9 car in 3, 4, 5 laps now. I think right now he is hardcore fuel saving right here.
Yeah, and that is, as we're going to see, actually, Corey Lyles jump to the high side, and holy crap, Corey Lyles just passed 7 cars and took the lead.
What a move. What just happened there?
Everybody, I think, was quarter throttle or whatever, or 3/4 throttle trying to hold on and make it, and Corey Lyles took full advantage. Cash Culp almost goes around on the back. Tane Hodgson's going to go through the grass here across the Daytona sign. But holy crap, Corey Lyles back to the front in an amazing moment.
No, I want to go back and take a look at that, because I've never seen anything like that. It's just him it's like, okay, it's go time, right? Everybody was back there saving fuel, and he was like, no, I mean, he definitely spooked the field doing this. Look at this. Looks like he's in just looks like in I don't know, like a Hendrick Motorsports cars in the field, or Rick Ware cars or something like that. The best, I mean, he just took off And I think it honestly spooked this whole field. You see the back here. And I think it just spooked everybody because it's like, what the hell just happened, right?
He's got that Michael Waltrip jet fuel in that machine. It's there you see Cash Culp and Tane Hodgson get together. I can't believe they didn't wreck there for how sideways they are. But, man, Corey Lyles, and I mean, you know what happened there is everybody's going 3/4 throttle, and your leader, Braden Hunsaker, he is also at that point going 3/4 throttle because he wants to not pull out too big of a lead and let them, capitalize on it. So it just, everybody was going so much slower. Like you said, Corey Lyles said, it's go time, and he took full advantage of it and rocketed that 56 machine to the lead.
And you're going to see now 3 Fords out in front. So you saw the Chevys out there doing a good job. But speaking of that, Brandon Hunsaker is falling off the back of this pack.
Man, I wonder... wow, that is interesting. I wonder what happened to him. He is very far back as we actually have a change for the lead. Lyles is going to drop down to 3rd. Joshua Gilbert is back to the lead.
I'm very interested what's going on here. I mean, he's even off the pace, 170 miles an hour to Cash Culp, who's behind him, 179. Almost 10 miles per hour slower right here. I don't know if he's trying to drop back to this 57, but
I bet you he is. I feel like that's the smart thing to do.
You see Tane also trying to catch up to this pack here.
I'm gonna go see if I can figure out what happened to that 9 machine, because he is way back.
Yeah, and you see the 11 Joshua taking his lead as Peter mentioned. Him doing a great job, and the guy pushing him, it's the 99, 4 laps down here. But right now, this is probably a great place for this 11 car. If they want to go around, just even for position, they have to go around this lap car, so...
I just looked back. It looks like Braden Hunsaker, he started to lose it right when that lead changed, and those two got together behind him, Cash Culp and Tate Hodgson. And then when he got far enough back, he lifted a lot more, so he could back up to Cash Culp quicker and just not waste any time. So that is why he dropped so far back. I'm not exactly sure why he fell so far back initially, but that is why it happened so quickly, is he lifted so that he didn't waste any time.
And now you're seeing these two, the leader starting to pull away. You see this 99 who's a lap car. I mean, this literally looks like Tandem drafting away from the pack.
This is the weirdest Daytona race I think I've ever watched. It is, man, yeah. I wonder if those Fords are trying to hit a mark and they're starting to save now. Hit a mark lap-wise, or maybe we're seeing a possible pit stop come soon, and they don't want to. I mean, there could be a legit strategy if you sit. I mean, as we see that they pull up, but there could be a legit strategy just sitting back a little bit come pit stop time, because that way the guys who are ahead of you aren't gonna realize you're coming in until it's too late.
Yeah, I've seen that come into play a lot, especially in my league racing stuff. Not only at the super speedways, but at any track, right? You say about like a second and a half behind, and then you just slowly make your way down pit road. No one even notices you there, and then you're like, wait, where did he go? And then you're already out of the pits, all right? So that's definitely a strategy that these guys might be trying to do here, trying to be a little bit sneaky with it and come down pit road without anybody even noticing that they're there, and shortcutting the field here.
Yeah, and that 1 second it's not that big of a deal to lose that, because they're gonna gain so much on your outlap when they're just on their own, and when you have 4 drivers, which it looks like these guys might have when they come into the pits. So, man, that could be a smart thing to do here, especially with how spread out they are. If they can work together properly, it could work out for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you see, once again, these two leaders, obviously it's 99 on the lead lap. They just pull away, and then these group of 3 just reel them back in. You see the 6 get a little bit sideways there. Diego having a little moment there, catches it, and then Corey's gonna come back up there. You're gonna see, the 99 is wrecking.
Greg, I don't know what happened, but Joshua Gilbert went way off the pace. The 99 looked startled by it and just lost control of the car, and now we're hearing a pit road call from Trevor Huff. top 3 down pit lane. That's Trevor Huff, Corey Lyles, and Matthew White, bringing the rest with them. And wow.
I had. Was it 11? I don't. Maybe the 11 was out of fuel. That's the only thing I can think of. But that is. Oh, did you see Trevor miss his box here?
I think the 11 was out of gas. That was the only thing that makes sense. Going to see Corey Lyles and Matthew White lead out, and Trevor is way far behind. I think it's beneficial, though, for these top 2 to drop back. It could really actually help them.
Yeah, I definitely agree that they need to grab Trevor here. You see Diego and Trevor here now. But at least Trevor does have a partner. It's a Ford, but it is someone.
It's especially important because if you look who else is on the track, they're coming in this time. I think I heard the call from Cash Culp, but Braden Hunsicker and Tane Hodison and Cash Culp, they are together, and they're in a group of 3. I mean, it's 1 car more than any of those 2 car tandems, but it could be a that could be all they need. Honestly, we're gonna see here.
And you see the 6 and the 95 linked up a lot better than the 2 and the 56, and they're gonna catch the back end of these guys easily. I don't know if they lifted for them, but even if they didn't, they caught the back end here.
You gotta look at them.
Did you see Braden overshot his box tremendously here?
Wow, that is. Oh my goodness, that is actually incredibly heartbreaking for him. That's gonna. I mean, he's gonna need a miracle right now to catch back up. Looking at the 6 car, Diego has a good amount of damage on that right front corner from the contact with the 99 when the 99 stepped out. I wonder how that car is going to do if it gets out into the lead of a group. Like, if it starts to lead this pack, that really could change the whole pace of this group. I mean, that might change this whole entire race strategy, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's honestly a killer for Tane and Cash, too, with Braden having that incident there. Because now, I mean, it was going to be a 3v4. Now it's a 2v4. And even Tane and Cash aren't even hooked together here. I mean, they're just hemorrhaging time away right now with, 23 laps to go here.
Yeah, they're gonna need more than just a. They're gonna need more than green flag. They're gonna need a caution, I think. And these top group, I think that soon they are going to be catching the 99 machine of Christian Zarate, which obviously we saw he was up front. He is not afraid to push, so that could add another car here. And also, importantly, it adds a unbalance to the group. Right now it's 2v2, and you could see these guys maybe going tandem in right at the end, but if you have a third car to add on to one of those groups, it could really just turn the tides. I mean, he could literally decide this whole race.
Yeah, especially with how aggressive that 99 has been with pushing. If it was maybe a car that was a little bit more placent and was willing to just ride, no, they need that 2-car group, that other 2-car group. They need a third car that will push and help get that other pack up there. So, but you see. In some of the camera shots, you see that 99 in the foreground there. So these leaders will be catching him sooner or later. But honestly, I think Tane and Cash need him more than the front pack do. Obviously, the front pack would love to have a 5th car to help, gap these others. But Tane and Cash are hoping that he does not keep up with this front pack and drops back to those 2. So
yeah, and man, and you got to look that's going to be a lot of time too. Even if he doesn't hold on, there's going to be a lot of time for him to drop back to that group behind them. As you're going to see, they're going to run the freight train down on the bottom, and then the 99 going to be trying to look in the chat. Somebody is talking about penalties. It's between your race control, Christian Zarate, and Trevor Huff. So I'm not sure exactly who they are talking about, but I don't think it's Trevor Huff. And actually, a black flag has just come in. Christian Zarate has gotten a black flag, and he is going to have to come down and serve that one.
And you got to think it's from that little spin out that affected that 6 car, right? And it looked like it was reactionary from that 11, slowing down tremendously, but still, I mean, that's a tough call to make if you're race control. It just looked like it was a reactionary type thing. It definitely didn't look intentional, but we see the black flag in the air for that 99. Are gonna have to come down pit road and serve that.
Actually, I have it cleared up here. I want to clear it up so that we don't make. I don't want race control to look bad here. What happened is the 99 machine came down pit lane, was speeding when he came into the pits, and said he needed a black flag to be cleared. The black flag was cleared, and then race control went back, looked at it, and reinstated the black flag because the 99 machine was pitting.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So, you know, an improper black flag clear definitely, you know, shouldn't have been cleared. So, as we see the two, gonna elect to step on the outside, drop back here, maybe trying to save fuel here. And he's gonna make his way back to 4th place here.
I don't know. I don't know if the 99's coming in or not. I'm extremely confused right now. Obviously, I have the radio end of it here, so you kind of just have to hear it through what my understanding is. But if he has to come down, this could be an issue for Andrew White because he is now he will have a gap. Obviously, he's dropping back, probably save gas, but the black flag was re-cleared, so.
Okay.
I'm very confused.
Yeah, very confusing set of circumstances there. It seemed like he sped, and yeah, I am at a loss for words. So,
Christian Zarate saying that he originally got a black flag for entering closed pit, which obviously would not make sense under green flag conditions. But apparently he also sped, but the penalty, the original penalty wasn't for speeding, the one that he got from iRacing, and so the black flag was cleared because the original one wasn't for speeding.
okay, well, I mean, he's still obviously 6 laps down, so really nothing's gonna help that case of trying to, you know, gain some track position here. I mean, the only other person who's laps down, and it's still that 11 still sitting in pit road here. I don't know if he had the tow or what's going on here, but he's sitting in the pits 8 laps down now, and that 11 car.
Very unfortunate. I wonder if he just kind of gave up after he knew he wasn't going to be there. I just heard from Cash Culp that he said he's not going to make it. So maybe we're seeing our first sense of drivers not being able to get there on gas. And this could really throw a whole wrench into everything. Also, the top group is catching up to Braden Hunsicker, and Hunsicker said in the driver's chat that he is staying low. So he's gonna make these leaders use up extra gas trying to get around him.
I mean, that's what you got to do, really. I mean, it might sound selfish, but every man for themselves, right? I definitely do this every time. I'm a lapper. I mean, you're not doing the wrong thing, really. So. It's definitely an inconvenience to the pack, but you're definitely not doing anything wrong. I mean, you're trying to do everything you can to, you know, keep the track position, try to give every advantage to yourself. But as you see them come up on Braden Hunsicker here, you're going to see them be forced to go around this 9 car.
To the top they'll go as they cross the stripe. Trevor Huff nearly turned Diego. That was very sketchy. Lyles clears, and it's gonna, I think, wait for everybody. Trevor Huff takes advantage, brings the Chevy down with him, the lap car, the 99, and the anger in that 99's cockpit is gonna propel Trevor Huff possibly to the lead.
Yeah, as we said before, this 99's not afraid to give a push here, but looks like the numbers are winning right here. But, and oh, you see the Fords coming down to the bottom here, and that's gonna leave Andrew White, the other Ford, to drop back here.
And you remember what I said, is that you can't rely on them? That's it right there. I mean, I don't blame them for doing that because of how close we are on gas. It's really important that they make it on gas. But, man, Andrew White, I think, probably is slowly realizing here that he doesn't quite have the alliance that he maybe thought he did have, you know, around lap 30 or so.
I definitely agree, and honestly, I'm just very confused. We think that these drivers aren't good on fuel, but they're so aggressive to still want to take this lead here. Unless some of these drivers know that they've saved enough to make it, I would not want to lead this race.
Yeah, I'm surprised Corey Lyles hasn't dropped back like he did earlier to give this one up. Maybe he is confident. Maybe Cash Culp didn't get enough gas in the tank. He's the only one I've been able to hear clearly enough to say he didn't make it. Other drivers may have said it. He was talking to Tate Hodison when he said it. I'm not sure if Tane confirmed that he is also out or is going to run out, or if he is good to go, because they were working together. But man, it's really a tough call. Obviously, we're up in the booth here. They're in the driver's seat. They know their fuel. We have no clue. It's just a guessing game.
I see Corey Lyles in that 6 car. Once again, a great recovery for Diego right here. But see these two forwards leading the field. Ooh, the 99 having a little bit of a moment there. He's going to go down underneath the apron here and fall back to the back of here. That's the second or third time that 99 has. Looks like he's just gotten a little, like, the car just gotten upset going out of 2 there.
We didn't even mention that Braden Hunsaker has tagged onto this group here, so it's grown a lot. It was a 4-car group, now it's a 6-car group, and it's not what Cash Gulp wants to see, but Braden Hunsaker is a lap down. Obviously, so is Christian Zarati's multiple laps down. So they're not really in it right now for the win in this main group. They may be in the main pack, but they're not going for the win. They are, you know, they're the pushers at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And Braden's in a good spot right here. If these guys decide to wreck for the win here with a couple laps to go, he needs to keep that car clean. Don't get that 0x. You get the lucky dog. You get back on the lead lap here if you get a caution. So, Braden's still in a really good spot to, you know, with a caution, he needs a caution, but with a caution, without getting involved in it, he's still in a good spot to potentially, you know, race up, get his lap back, come up here and race for a win.
Yeah, he's definitely not out of it, and a caution is also not out of the question, I think. So I agree, he's in a great spot. Trevor Huff nearly got into the quarter panel of the 6 machine going down the back straightaway. He saw a small gap, tried to take advantage of it, and it almost came to a head. We almost saw Diego go back through the grass. But as you can see on board right now with Trevor Huff, you can see that rear end damage for that 6 machine. I mean, that thing is buckled in to where the spoiler is showing way more than it really normally is. And you see all the scuffs on the King's Hawaiian Orange there. So, man, I really wonder how this damage is going to affect him, because he's basically the only one up here who has damage.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, it seems that it hasn't affected him too much here, but I definitely think it will affect him if he wants to go up there and lead a line here. I mean, he's almost kind of has to be a designated pusher with all that damage.
Yeah, and I think there's almost a downside to not trying to lead a little bit here, because you don't know what your car's going to do. You could come to the final lap, you go to make a move to the lead, and the car just stalls out because it's got so much drag. As you're going to see Trevor Huff get to the inside. He saw the gap, took advantage of it. Now Diego's going to have to drop back into third. He got very lucky that there was a gap behind Trevor Huff.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, especially with those 2 lap cars behind them, like if you get freight trained, you have to not go around cars for position. You have to pass those lap cars to even, you know, make up spots on these drivers. So very lucky that that Matthew was leaving a lane there and the 6 got down.
Trevor Huff, he did that pass actually perfectly. He didn't even have to really use any extra gas. If you look at it, he just ran the bottom, and Diego left the hole, and Trevor took advantage of it. That is exactly, at this stage in the race where we're unsure about gas, that is exactly how you need to make a pass, and he did it.
Yeah, that was a textbook, you know, fuel-saving pass, if you want to call it that. But once again, we know Trevor's been aggressive with these pushes all race, so you're going to see him getting to the back end of this 56 Wawa machine. And it looks like he's not. It looks like he's fine now pushing. He's not content just sitting back there and saving fuel. He really wants to push this 56 out.
And obviously we know Trevor is not gonna stay with the 56. Lyles knows that too. I mean, that's really what Trevor Huff hasn't even shown that he really is a full alliance with his other Chevy drivers. So he's definitely not going to stick with the 4 drivers. If he gets the numbers to make a move, he will definitely make it. If I'm Corey Lyles, honestly, from this point forward, I am focusing on that car in my mirror, because you could lose the lead, and if these guys are good on fuel, that could really decide this one.
Exactly. I mean, you make a really good point here. Mirror driving, especially as the leader here, is literally the way to go here at Daytona. I mean, you hear it on the IRL broadcast all the time. It's like, oh, he's mirror driving. He's looking through his mirror. You see them talk about it all the time, and it's the same here in iRacing. You if you're the leader, I mean, you're in a very vulnerable spot, especially if you have people that you know are going to take advantage of you here. But one thing I will say is Corey does have that 6 and that 2 that are forwards that I would assume would work with them, right? We've seen Andrew be very dedicated to the Ford Alliance. He's definitely gotten taken advantage of because of that dedication. But I also feel like Diego can't afford to lead a line out here. He has to push right here. As you see him, yeah.
Yeah, and Diego, he doesn't have his teammate up here either. Tane has dropped way back, so who is Diego going to be, like, fully dedicated to? Because we haven't seen him up here enough to know that he is actually fully dedicated to the forwards. Obviously, we saw with Joshua Gilbert that he didn't want to really stick with the forwards. He just wanted to go with whoever was going to get him to the front. If that's what Diego wants to do, I mean, that really does change the whole entire race here, because you could possibly have a 4v2 if it comes to that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I feel like the swing vote is going to be between that 99 and that 6, right? The 99 has also been very willing to work with anybody, and the 6 hasn't been up here to show who he's going to work with. And you see the 56 right here, he's going to drop to the back here. With 6 to go here, he's going to drop behind. Maybe they're trying to orchestrate something here. See the 6 let him in.
Yeah, that looked intentional right there from Corey Lyles. Almost like he wants to save gas and also wants to set up a run there. Trevor Huff is in a bad spot right now. He's got 3 forwards lined up behind him, and we know at least 2 of them are going to work together good enough. And if they drop back, I mean, he literally has nobody directly behind him who is going to help him at the end of this one. If they drop back to make a move, Trevor Huff is going to be left out to dry. He is far from the catbird seat at this point.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But once again, you have to think these forwards cannot make the move too early, because once again, if these forwards make the move, Trevor has 2 Chevys back there that will probably work with them. We've seen Braden, be pretty reliant on this Ford Alliance. He hasn't really worked with any forwards this whole race. So these forwards cannot make the move too early. Coming forward to go here at Daytona. I mean, this is basically a mental game right now.
Yeah, and you also got to think, I mean, we're kind of assuming at this point that everybody's good on gas, but if they're not, I mean, what if a leader of a lane runs out of gas on the last lap or something? That could throw a whole wrench in everything. And you got to remember, I mean, you pointed it out, we got 2 lap cars at the back of this pack, so it's really only 4 of them that are going for it. The lap cars, like you said, they're going to be the swing vote. There's like almost no doubt about that. Who do they go with? And, I mean, it is really going to change the whole entire set of how this race is going to play out, because we're only coming back to 3 laps to go, and Trevor Huff is he's had the most laps. This is the most laps that he has led in a row this whole entire race.
No, I definitely agree. And like you said, I mean, I would be and this is a panic button for that 95. You know, you have those 3 forwards behind you. You know that they're going to make a move. You see the 6, the 2 almost get taken advantage of by the 9 back there. But you know that they're going to take advantage of you, and you know you don't really have any help right here.
Yeah, I think I can tell what's about to happen here, too. Corey Lyles, you see he's really pushing that 56. I would not be surprised if we see him push that 56 back there, let off the gas, drop back to your other forwards, get moved up, and then when that 95 comes back to you slowly, you're going to take advantage, and you're going to go to the top side. I think that is almost the move that they might need to make here, is we're going to see Trevor Huff kind of leave that bottom lane open. That almost got sketchy. 2 laps to go here from Daytona.
This is going to definitely show who's going to work with who. I think that 6 is going to work with that 56, but you never know at the end of this thing. You know, you can push a teammate out, but once again, I mean, this is Daytona. You don't get a lot of opportunities sometimes to come out here and race for a win here. And you see, ooh, the 6 getting upset out of turn 2 here.
How much do these forwards trust Corey Lyles? This is his first race back in a little while. Are they going to stick with each other, or are they going to go with Lyles as he is all up the rear end of the 95 machine, trying to get him out there, coming through turn 3 and 4 and out of 4, 1 lap to go from World Center Racing.
And you see Corey pushing out, and the 6 looks like he's trying to peek out. Not going to do it there, but you saw that 56 pushing that 95 out really hard, deep into going into turn 1 there, but I figured he was going to drop back a little bit here. You see the 6 and the 2 making a run. Look at them. They're tandeming back there. As the 6 is going to get hooked.
He caught it, though. What a save. These guys are not formed up. Right now, Trevor Huff leads the 56 of Corey Lyles trying to close in. Last dash from the 56 Ford with help from Andrew White. They're going to be rolling through 3 and 4 and out of the corner. Here they come.
Going through 3 and 4, going to the tri-oval right now. Advantage of the 56. And he's going to get it here at Daytona.
Corey Lyles with the last corner, last straightaway move. Goes from pole position to the win, most laps led, and parks that Ford Mustang in victory lane here at the 2.5 mile Daytona Superspeedway. What a finish.
Let's go back and take a look at this last couple of corners here. I mean, he sets it up perfectly. I thought he was in a lot of trouble because I thought he needed that 6 car to be up there to help him out. And when that 6 got turned, I thought it put this 95 in the capper seat, because you see none of these guys are lined up very well here. But we're gonna go on board with this 55 right here, going through here, and you're gonna see him take advantage here. Go back just a little bit more. You just see that 95 give him the bottom here, and he takes it.
Yeah, I honestly feel like that was a mistake on the 95. That won Corey Lyles the race. I mean, I think he would have gotten close, but that just absolutely, I mean, that's so unfortunate right there for Trevor Huff, and he's going to not even come home second. He's going to come home third. He lost the spot to Matthew White, and man, Trevor Huff, so close, but no cigar in that 95 machine. Just kind of left the bottom open, and that's eventually what's going to cost him it.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and Trevor did everything he could, right? I mean, he was the lone Chevy up there leading those Fords, and just gave up the spot, gave up the the bottom, and it just really allowed that 56 to just get under there, get the shove by the 2, and that's all I was told, right?
Yeah, and Corey Lyles on his return to the Cup Series parks it in victory lane on the biggest stage here. I mean, what a job. Honestly, like, what a job. He commanded the whole race and did it exactly how he needed to. He saved enough, played it out perfectly, and he is going to be the one to celebrate tonight.
Yeah, I mean, what a masterclass by this 56 car. I mean, like you said, came out here, led the majority of the laps here. He led 48 out of the 100 laps here, just a little under half the laps here, led by this Wawa machine, and just came out here and showed a masterclass and just made the right move at the right time to win this one.
Hopefully here we can get some of these guys in for an interview. I don't see any of them in there right now, unfortunately.
Well, while we wait on these drivers to get in the VCs, let's go ahead and look at your race results here. Presented by High Velocity TV. Corey Lyles, your winner here. What a finish right there. Matthew White coming in here, eking out that second place, and Trevor Huff, heartbreak for him, leading at on the final lap. Just couldn't get it done here, but we'll round out that last podium spot. You see Diego Rodriguez, great recovery from him, coming back to P4, and Cash Culp round out your top 5.
Tane Hodison, he, after the win last week at Watkins Glen's, going to bring it home at 6th. Braden Hunsicker had a rough pit stop at the end, is going to end up 1 lap down in 7th. Christian Zarate basically had a rough race the whole way out, ends up 8th. Joshua Gilbert, we saw him, he retired, unfortunately, and retired in 9th. And then Jude Okafor, who led early, unfortunately, is going to end up in the 10th and final position and out of the race. And it looks like I think we have Trevor Huff in the booth if you want to drag him up, and I think we also have Corey Lyles in there. Or there. Yeah.
Let's see if we can find, is this Trevor, I think? Yeah, in the 95. Let's go ahead and talk to Trevor here. Well, can we drag him? I can't drag him as well.
I got him.
Okay. Hey, Trevor, it's Christian and Peter up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, such a heartbreak for you at the end there, leading on the last lap. But you had all those Fords behind you. Just walk us through your race and just walk us through those last final laps there.
Yeah, I didn't want to be leading, of course. I was trying to get Diego to go so I could be stuck behind my teammate Corey Lyles, and I guess something happened to Diego. I don't know, and we got by him, but whatever happened to Corey down the backstretch that allowed me to get past him as well. That kind of sucked a little bit because I didn't want to be leading on the last lap, but I know how to block when I'm on the last lap, and I felt like I was pretty sure that I had plenty of room, and so coming off of 4, I knew my teammate was gonna bail on me. It's okay, it's racing, I guess, but you know, kind of could have had a 1-2 finish, kind of threw it away, but that's okay. He won. I'm happy for him. I went into 3, trying to move the lane up just a little bit so I could control the outside as well. And I knew no one was going to want to help me because I won on debut last time. And so, kind of running the middle lane. And I thought I didn't give him enough room to go around. And looking at it from my angle, they did pass me a little bit below the yellow line. But we're not going to say anything to the admins. Both of them passed me below the yellow line. But we're not going to say anything. So that's a little frustrating there. But, I don't care. I literally threw together this paint like 5 minutes before I joined the session. So I'm happy. I had fun. It was a long race. And, controlling the lanes and trying to figure out where the runs were going to go was probably the best part of that. And I enjoyed it for sure.
Yeah, it's actually.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was about to say it's surprising to hear that Corey was your teammate here, because just based off how you guys worked with it, like how everybody worked with each other, it seems like you're really dedicated to the working with the Bevies, and it seems like Lyles was really committed to working with the Fords. But um, yeah, very surprising to hear that. But like you said at the end there, I mean, when you got to go for it, you got to go for it, and it looks like just Corey beat you out there. But Peter, anything you want to ask him?
no, not really. You kind of took my last point there, but yeah, I just phenomenal. I mean, great job tonight. You ran a really good race, and you seem to be one of the few cars that was really actually making moves on some of those longer runs, and it just about almost paid off for you. It's so heartbreaking to be leading coming out of 4 and have that happen. But anybody you want to thank here for a podium finish here tonight at Daytona?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I just thank my family, my girlfriend, and Heinz, of course. They don't actually sponsor me, so I just said in chat, I said I wanted to run a bright yellow car tonight, so I just thought, what's bright yellow? Heinz, that's right. So, but in reality, in Jersey, JFR got an announcement coming up soon on the actual E-Coke team that I'm running with, so we don't want to give that away a little bit, but I think that's pretty much it. For all my base sponsors that I run on. Oh yeah, PepsiCo. I forgot about that. So it just sucks a little bit that I mean, I agree. It looked like Corey was working with the Fords because he was kind of refusing to work with me and Cash because we all 3 were teammates, and he was kind of out for himself, which I can understand a little bit. I mean, I don't understand it personally, but I understand the mindset a little bit, and it's fine. Just a little disappointed that Cash got taken out as well. But all in all, I had a good time, and I'm just glad that one of our drivers at least got something out of that race.
Well, it's definitely still an impressive run for you, but we were going to drag you back down to celebrate with friends and family, and once again, phenomenal race, and I guess welcome back. So
Yeah, I appreciate it. My friend Cash also says to thank his company, which is also the sponsor of this series. So thank you, Cash, for the Fast Cash racing products stuff.
alrighty, well,
Anyway, thank you.
yeah, thank you. That was your third place finisher, Trevor Huff, there in that number 95 Heinz machine. And we're going to get ready to go ahead and drag in your second place finisher of Matthew White, if he's in here.
Do not think he is.
I do not see him in the VC, so.
And I don't even see Corey Lyles anymore.
Corey Lyles is also not in the VC here, so we will wait on them. While we wait on them, we can some final remarks here. So, Peter, I mean, for a 10-car race, this was probably one of the most interesting broadcast I've called in a while when it comes to just the craziness, the strategy, just almost anything that can happen in one of these super speedways happen.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I had no clue that Trevor Huff was like as official as he is. And that's not a dig at him. I mean, at super speedways, it's the it's very hard to see a difference in talent because of how much the draft comes into play. But I'd love to commentate on a race where he is, where it's a little more of a driver's track because uh, yeah, I mean he did a phenomenal job tonight, but it really was the Fords who showed what they had. And like you said, I had no clue that they were teammates either. So interesting to see that it was really manufacturers over teams tonight. And I mean, Corey Lyles, absolutely phenomenal job. I wish he was in the call because I want to ask him about when he passed all the cars on the top side. That's probably one of the craziest moments I've ever had in when I've commentated.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I even not commenting, I've never seen anything like that besides maybe like that back in the COT days with the Kyle Busch jump, as everybody calls it, right? And that's still, on a restart, he just timed it right. That was just straight up speed, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he straight up passed them because they were sleeping, just trying to save fuel. And like I said, that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Not only broadcasting, but just in general on the sim. So, I agree with you. I would really like to talk to him. But as we see,
Well,
as
he's in
we
there.
say that, we see him in the VC now. So let's see if we can drag him up here and talk to him. Corey Lyles, it's Christian and Peter up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically a masterclass for you here, leading 48 of the 100 laps here. Just walk us through those last final laps and what you had to do to get around your teammate there, and just walk us through your race in general.
It was pretty dominant. I mean, most of my super speedway races here are pretty dominant. It was just like those. I just really hate super speed racing just because the people I hate having to make that move on the final lap to pass people. It's just, but yeah. I mean,
Yeah. You. I mean, like Christian said, you were very dominant. But talk to us about when you made that move on the top side. You know what I'm talking about. When everybody was basically saving gas and you just powered your way around. I mean, that was one of the craziest moments we've ever seen. What was going through your head when that happened?
um, well, I um. I was tired of sitting there. We were only going 160, and I thought, well, let me try something out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I just flew by everybody. Thought I would try something new.
Yeah, and it was pretty impressive. There is no doubt about that. Christian, anything else you want to ask your winner here tonight?
No, I mean, honestly, I mean, you kind of everything I would want to ask, you kind of laid out on the table there. I mean, you kind of showed your cards there. One thing I was surprised to hear that is that, Trevor was your teammate there. I mean, it seemed like you were very prone to working with kind of your forwards instead of your teammates there. And, but there at the end, I mean, kind of showed your cards out on the table. Trevor gave you the room there, getting to the bottom there. You got to put a great push by Matthew at the end there,
Yeah.
and you just kind of took it home there.
Yeah, I was definitely not the best teammate today. I will definitely have a talk with him. I need to work on my teammate skills a little bit. I mean, I've worked with teammates really well. Just today, I don't know. I don't know what was up with me today. I should have just ran better with my teammates.
Regardless of teammates or not, I mean, you still had a phenomenal race. I mean, you showed them who was boss tonight. But anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors, friends, family for this dominating win?
Yeah, HSF. It's a nice, good old, what do you call it? Setup shop. JFR, HLM, Cash Cope Racing, and I think that's it.
Well, regardless of, like you said, whether you're working with teammates or not, you still had a great run. But congrats on the win. I know you kind of took a break from running in here in the Fast Cash Racing Products Cup Series, but hopefully we can talk to you next week. Hopefully in the victory lane once again.
Yep.
That was your race winner of Corey Lyles. Once again, what a dominating performance by that driver in the number 56 car. But once again, as we were talking about it, Peter, I mean, like that one of the most interesting plate tracks races I've ever seen, not only in the sim but just in general. Even regarding the like IRO Cup Series and Xfinity Series ARCA trucks, this is, like I said, almost anything that could have happened did happen tonight.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out there to Corey Lyles for that interview. It's not very often that you hear somebody in a race car say that, I mean, say that they should have done better tonight, especially when it's the winner. I mean, clearly he realized he didn't really work with his teammates very well, but it's good that he acknowledged it. That's definitely really good. I think the only other time I can think of that I've seen something similar to the kind of the domination that we saw out of him tonight was in real life when it was at Talladega a couple years back, and I know you remember this because you're an SHR fan. And all the like all four of the SHR cars got hooked up and basically controlled the whole entire race. And Eric Almirola ended up winning. That is the only thing I can really think of how similar it was. And again, it's Ford here tonight.
And I definitely do remember that the master class of the SHR cars. Obviously, I hope that they can recreate that in the next couple of seasons. Obviously, SHR going through a rebuild with basically a brand new roster for drivers this season, bringing in Josh Berry and Noah Gregson, and obviously you have Preece and Briscoe that have some Cup experience at the very least, and obviously Briscoe being there fourth season in the Cup Series for that driving that number 14 car. But yeah, I definitely agree. The Fords dominated this race. The Chevys had a good couple runs, but anytime we felt like the Chevys had the momentum there, the Fords would just take all that momentum back and just get those Dark Horse Mustangs back up to the lead.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not much more to say, but you can't. I mean, they were absolutely dominant tonight, like we've been saying. So, I mean, congrats to Corey Lyles and everybody else who really ran good tonight. And it was a very clean and very hard race. We saw a lot of interesting things, no doubt about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm very happy to be up in the booth here with you tonight.
Yeah, and as we get ready to end the stream, let's go ahead and wrap up everything. Once again, this is Christian Delgado and Peter Terry up in the booth. Once again, as you just mentioned, thank you so much for being up in the booth. I mean, for people that don't know, me and Peter, had a lot more experience than just these two races up in the booth. So it's always a blast having Peter up here, and hopefully we can have him back up here. But besides that, everybody, we got to shout out the sponsors. Thank you, the Fast Cash Racing Products for, coming along and sponsoring the Cup Series. Thank you, Cash, for everything you do for the league. Got to shout out to Noah Hamilton for running the league, putting on everything. Thank you to all the admins who are working really hard in the background to make sure this race ran pretty cleanly. And obviously we saw them doing their job here with the whole 99 situation. But once again, guys, thank you guys, everybody up in the chat and anybody for watching, for being up there supporting your driver and everything. But besides that, guys, this was Peter Terrio and Christian Delgado, the voices of High Velocity TV. We'll be back on next Friday here for some more Fast Cash Racing Products Cup Series. But besides that, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys here, right back here, on Fridays. Alrighty, hope you guys have a great rest of the night, and we'll see you guys.